Hello, welcome to our garden. My name is Natalie Priester. I am a teacher.
My name is Nuardi.
Oh, and what's his name?
Newton.
Well, we have a garden. I'm a teacher, but gardening is my hobby, and I heard somewhere that you're supposed to make videos that are like the type of videos you like to watch. We like gardening videos, so we're gonna show you our garden. Full disclosure, folks, I'm not a professional gardener. This is my hobby. I started it a few years ago, but enjoy. First up is this little nectarine tree. I've been joking that my garden is just a bunch of sticks sticking out of pots, and this one is the epitome of that. Underneath there are marigolds. I threw them under a bunch of these trees, just trying to get a little bit of color and something underneath them. Right here, not a fruit tree, just a flower plant that the dogs will not eat and that they're not allergic to. I don't even know what it's called. Back here is the saddest, smallest little raspberry plant. My neighbor gave them to me, but I think it needs less sun, so that might be moving. Over here we have a Lauro dwarf blood orange. All my trees over here are dwarf or semi-dwarf because that's what needs to grow in the pots and because we don't want to block our view. Right here is one of my favorite trees. This is a little apricot tree with one charming little apricot. The foil is on here because that's supposed to help keep the birds away, and since I have so few fruit, I don't want them to eat the little ones that I do have. We'll leave this spider web because that's only going to help get rid of my ugly bugs. Right here is a boysenberry plant. If you are not from Southern California, you may not know what that is. That's because they are a Southern California berry. They actually come from a family called Knott's, which turn their boysenberry jams and pies into a whole amusement park we call Knott's Berry Farm. It's going to eventually grow and get more support. Right now I'm just letting it adjust before I kind of trestle it up. Back there is one of my favorite plants because it has done so well in my garden. That is our peach tree, and when it came in it had a bunch of leaf curl because we had a really rainy spring, but the leaves are doing very well. It's adjusting and has a bunch of little tiny baby peaches on it. Next to it is a sugar cane. We are not allowed to have bamboo here, but no one said we can't have sugar cane. HOA rules say no bamboo, by the way. So we have the sugar cane there, and then hopefully it will grow up behind the waterfall. Waterfall, as you can see, is not running. That is a work in progress for our family, but I am proud that we recently got this pond. I know it doesn't look like much to you, but there's little fish in there, and we cleaned this pond out, and eventually we'll have a nice running water feature with pond and lilies and everything going there. That's on our future list. That's a fun part of garden. There's always a future part. Right here are 3 pots that, oh, it's a trial and error with the dogs. I'm trying to put flowers in them, but the dogs like the flowers more than anything, so this salvia plant will probably get relocated. Over in this part of our yard, we first have our guava plants right here. We have a pineapple guava and a strawberry guava. There's a little tiny flower in that strawberry guava, so hopefully we'll get a guava out of it. In the middle is a pink flower that is actually not doing well. I think it needs less sun. It will probably be moving. Back there we have a banana tree that I just stuck in the ground and 2 little date palms. I might get a few more date palms. In the middle, I'm playing with some stone crop as a ground cover, but I'm not sure what's gonna go in there because it has to be dog friendly. These are our 2 little blueberry bushes. These are my quick and easy cages for them because as soon as I put this one in, every robin in the neighborhood discovered our yard because Robin's favorite food is blueberries. There are 2 different varieties. This one's an O'Neill, and I forget what kind this one is, but blueberries like to grow next to relatives and not next to the same exact type of bush. That one actually is loaded, and so my little easy chicken wire cages are working to keep off the birds. But oh, those robins come and look, they love them. Okay, now we're in our long, older garden. We've had this garden for 3 years now. All the dirt in here has actually just been shoved up here when they built the retaining wall. We live in a newer house, and so it was just a dirt lot when we moved in. The soil had not been worked with at all. It was just kind of whatever got pushed up here. In the last few years, we've done a lot of work though, and so here's what we have. On this end, we have 2 sunflowers. My neighbor gifted them to me. They were volunteers in her yard, and now they're adjusting to ours. Behind them, there are onions lining the sides that I started as little bulbs, and in the middle there is garlic. I put the onions and the garlic down here to keep out the unwanted animals because animals don't like to eat those things. And sometimes little animals weasel up through there. We even had a rattlesnake in here about 2 weeks ago. We didn't kill it, we relocated it. I'm happy about that. He can go eat someone else's mice. Oh, also in here is some sort of crazy hot chili plant. I don't remember what it is, but it's tucked in there. Right here is our Dwarf Meyer lemon tree. It is a little bit sick right now. I just gave it some neem oil to treat it, but we have lemons. There's one in the middle, and there's some actually getting pretty big right here. My trees normally get all pruned and trimmed up in the winter, but they didn't get touched this year because I had a baby in September, and so they just kind of got to go crazy. In the middle right here, we have curly kale. It's just getting big enough to almost harvest. In the middle, I have collard greens that are growing from stem someone gave us. Along the edge, I have bunching onions and one green onion that I used from a clipping in the house that's coming up. And in the middle, I have some parsley because I thought it would like the shade underneath the mandarin tree. This mandarin tree is our champion. It produced probably, I want to say like 60 to 100 mandarins last year. It'll produce a bunch this year. There's a couple little rogue ones left over from the last harvest too, if you look close, but it's loaded with itty bitty little mandarins. Over here is my daughter's favorite part of the garden. It is a broccoli patch. We never got a full head of broccoli. It's always just bolted and bolted, so she eats the flowers. I'm probably not gonna try broccoli again. I think it is too hot here, even in the winter. Along the edge right here, there are some little beets in cups. They're in cups because we have major roly-poly issues. It's been better this year because I composted and I'm not composted, I mulched and I'm not overwatering, and that is helping. Right here we have a beautiful red flower that my neighbor gifted us. It's behind the fence because, again, of the dogs. I am in love with this trellis right here because I spent hours trying to figure out how to build it and I finally got it up. It is supporting snow peas at the bottom. The seeds were gifts from my neighbor's snow peas and they are coming up. It's getting a little warm, so I'm not gonna achieve my dream of having them go all the way up the trellis, but I can plant something else on the trellis next. Next to it, we have some chocolate mint. Mint goes crazy here, so the mint will probably be relocated to a pot so it doesn't spread out too much. And here we have a little sad looking cabbage that I thought was a goner last year and it came back up. Next to it, we have a few leeks that are ready to harvest. We've been pulling the leaves off for stir fry, so we've actually let it go probably too long. Those have been there since last spring also, so they are ready to come out. Our pomegranate tree is a champion. It does need to be trimmed. It's never had this many flowers. Its first year, one of our dogs chewed it to a stump and it's made this comeback. It needs a good trim this year, but hopefully we'll get some pomegranates off as long as this wind doesn't knock the little flowers off or my little helper doesn't pick the pretty flowers. This is my favorite part of our garden over here. Back here we have a cilantro we're letting bolt to try to get some coriander out of it. In between these big fluffy plants we have beets. These ones I planted in the winter and so they're probably gonna be ready in a month or two. And these, oh, in the back there's something called botecola. It's from Sri Lanka. It's a green you pull off and chop up and put in a salad. It loves growing here. I hardly even have to touch it and it grows year round. These big, huge, whopper guys are our Brussels sprouts. They are my favorite plant because they're so pretty and I didn't think I could grow them. I thought Brussels sprouts would grow with a stick coming out of the middle with all the little sprouts on them, but they don't. Actually, the way it works, if you look close, there's little tiny buds in there and you help break the leaves off and then the sprouts come up like shoots would be coming up out of the Brussels sprouts. So I'm gonna check, I think it's very soon. I'm gonna start breaking those off and helping the sprouts grow to fill up the whole stem. Over here is our second garlic garden, which we have set up again to keep animals out on this side, and we have a little blackberry bush. I bought that thing like 3 years ago. I thought it was a goner. It will not die, so we just relocated it here and I'm gonna slowly build it a trellis. Let's go to the front, sis. Like I said, it gets really hot here and so I'm taking advantage of all the shade I have. We're now in our front yard. Right here we have a passion fruit vine that is growing up. It's gonna go over this wall and then we're gonna actually build it a little trellis that doubles for a shade cover for our dogs. Down below I have some morning glories that I'm hoping will spread over these rocks. Right here I have my two beautiful artichoke plants. This one's way happier, I'm not sure why. This one might need a little bit more alfalfa juice to go on it. And tucked in between them I have onions because I just stuck onions everywhere. Next to the door we have flowers. This foxglove is my current favorite. Where we live, lavender grows like crazy. There are lavender farms around here. Oh yes, there's an aloe vera plant right there. She likes the aloe vera plant. Lavender grows really well here. We have these giant bushes which we can pull off and you dry them and smell them. Down here I have lettuce. Oh, my pot got hit by some good rain and it made a moat in the middle, so my lettuce is everywhere, but it is just getting full enough. You can go ahead and eat some, sis. This bushy plant is actually asparagus. I know it looks nothing like asparagus, but that's because the first year you just have to let it bolt and bolt and bolt, and then it's supposed to keep producing asparagus for the next 15 years. So I'll be relocating that to another pot when it's dormant this winter. Over here, we have spinach here. We just actually harvested it last night for dinner to make spinach tortillas. And so It's a little bit sparse. We have spinach. Behind it, we have a new cilantro plant. And then my radish plants are having an issue. And so I just tucked them in all around the palm tree and around the flower to see how they'll do. Right here are my seedlings. I've been keeping all my seedlings in the front to keep the bugs away from them, and because I can control the sun better here. They were full. Last night, our rabbit actually just came through and chopped the heads off of a bunch of them. But I have beets in here. I have cucumbers I'm growing for a friend. These are some little Japanese eggplant, and I'm using these little cloth bags. See the roots coming through? And I tried some in peat pots, and actually all the seedlings I put in here took much better than the peat pots did. There's leeks coming up in there, tons more beets. Now, we've tried to grow strawberries every year and fought the roly-polies and fought the roly-polies. Currently, we're not fighting the roly-polies, but last night the rabbit did come up and take a few bites out of these, so they'll be moving soon. So we have strawberries in here, and then we have little radishes tucked in along the edge. And then I didn't know this, but someone planted some pumpkins, so we have some somewhat volunteer pumpkins too. Guys, I don't know where I'm gonna put pumpkins in that yard, but I have a bunch of them that are growing, or I could just gift them to somebody else. And so that's our garden, everybody. All that's out here are just a bunch of different flowers and things. We love gardening. Huh, you like gardening?
Yeah.
Does brother like gardening?
No, he plays here. He don't play here, huh?
Yeah, he just plays here. Okay, well, Nuari's been waiting and waiting. She has not had any strawberries yet this year, and right now she gets to eat her first strawberry of the season. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pick it for you. Ready? Okay. Wait, before she eats it, thank you for watching. My channel is normally teacher stuff with some family vlogs. Feel free to subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Don't ask me a bunch of gardening questions because I hardly know what I'm doing, folks, but go ahead. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Okay, try it. How's it taste?
Sour.
Is it too sour? Oh, we'll try again next time. Bye, guys.
This one next.